Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about the brand new iPhone 17 series, Apple's latest release that's making headlines everywhere. Apple wants you to believe this is the biggest leap forward in smartphone history, packed with features you can't live without. But if you've followed Apple long enough, you'll know that not everything they present on stage actually translates into real-world value. And here's the bold truth: you don't need to upgrade to the iPhone 17 this year. In fact, I've got 5 major reasons why skipping this release might be one of the smartest decisions you can make. These reasons touch on pricing strategies, design compromises, performance hype, battery realities, and the fact that software, the thing you interact with every single day, doesn't require this new hardware at all. So, if you've been tempted by Apple's shiny ads, this video is for you. By the end, you'll know exactly why holding onto your current iPhone could be a smarter move than dropping over $1,000 for something that feels awfully familiar, and you might just thank yourself for keeping that cash in your wallet instead of giving it to Apple. Reason 1. The price jump isn't worth it. First, let's talk about money, because that's where Apple always wins. The iPhone 17 series has launched with prices that start higher than ever. The base iPhone 17 begins around $999, while the Pro and Pro Max versions soar above $1,200 and $1,300. If you want the top-tier Pro Max with maximum storage, you're looking at nearly $1,600. And then there's the iPhone Air, Apple's new ultra-thin model. Sleek? Yes. Affordable? Not at all. It's positioned between the standard and Pro models, but the price is still far from what most users would consider a value buy. Now here's the trick: Apple uses a strategy called anchoring. By putting out a super expensive Pro Max model, they make the $999 base model look reasonable. It's psychology, not generosity. Most people still end up spending more than they planned, especially when they add accessories like AirPods, cases, and MagSafe chargers. Compare this to alternatives in the market. Samsung's Galaxy S25 Ultra offers insane camera zoom capabilities and a massive battery at around the same price. But Samsung often discounts its devices within a few months. Google's Pixel 9 Pro also undercuts Apple while offering AI-powered features that Apple can't match yet. Meanwhile, Apple devices hold their price longer, meaning you rarely find discounts in the first year. So the question is, if the upgrades aren't revolutionary, why pay Apple's premium? Unless your current iPhone is on its last legs, spending this much money doesn't make financial sense. Reason 2. Minimal design changes. Apple calls the iPhone 17 a breakthrough in design. But let's look closer. Yes, the iPhone Air is the thinnest iPhone ever, measuring just about 5.6 millimeters. It uses a titanium frame, and it's impressively lightweight. But beyond that, the design isn't groundbreaking. The camera bump is still there, the flat edges remain, and from the front it looks like every iPhone released in the past 4 years. If you put the iPhone 16 and iPhone 17 side by side, most people wouldn't be able to tell the difference without flipping them over. And here's the problem with ultra-thin phones: compromises. Making a device thinner often comes at the cost of battery capacity or heat management. Apple says they've improved cooling with vapor chambers, but long-term performance is still questionable. We've seen this before. The iPhone 6 was Apple's thinnest iPhone at the time, and it suffered from bendgate. Meanwhile, competitors are experimenting with truly bold designs. Samsung has foldables, like the Galaxy Z Fold and Flip, which actually change the way you use a phone. Google is focused on slimmer bezels and unique AI-driven cameras. Apple? They're sticking to safe, incremental changes. So ask yourself, is shaving off a couple of millimeters in thickness really worth upgrading for? Or is it just Apple giving us another cosmetic tweak, while calling it revolutionary? Reason 3. Camera upgrades aren't revolutionary. Every year, Apple markets its cameras as a giant leap forward. The iPhone 17 is no exception. Yes, we now have triple 48-megapixel sensors on the Pro models, an improved ultra-wide lens, and a better telephoto option. The front camera also gets a small bump, with center stage enhancements that track you during video calls. But let's be honest, how many people actually need these upgrades? For the average user who's posting to Instagram or TikTok, last year's iPhone already delivers more quality than most social platforms can even display. Even if you're into photography, Apple is still behind in areas like zoom. Samsung offers 10x optical zoom on its Ultra models, while Apple's telephoto still struggles to match that. Google's Pixel phones also outperform in low-light conditions, thanks to their AI-driven night sight technology. Another thing, the megapixel count doesn't tell the full story. Apple uses pixel binning and computational photography tricks to make images look sharper. But in real-world conditions, the differences between iPhone 16 and 17 are subtle at best. Unless you're a professional photographer. And even then, most pros use dedicated cameras. These camera upgrades don't justify a $1,000 purchase. So yes, the iPhone 17 camera is technically better. But practically speaking, it's not a game changer. Reason 4. Battery life still falls short. Now, let's address the one thing that every smartphone user cares about: battery life. Apple claims that the iPhone 17 series has all-day battery life. But what does that really mean? For most users, it translates to about 6 to 7 hours of screen-on time. That's not terrible, but it's hardly impressive in 2025. Competitors like Samsung and Xiaomi are offering phones with massive 5,000 to 6,000 mAh batteries that can easily last a day and a half, even under heavy use. Some even include 100-watt or faster charging, giving you 0 to 100% in under 30 minutes. Apple? They're still stuck at slower charging speeds, even with USB-C now being standard. Sure, they've made incremental improvements with Quick Charge 5 Plus style technology, but the iPhone still lags behind in real-world speed tests. And let's not forget, thinner designs often mean smaller batteries. The iPhone Air, for example, sacrifices some battery capacity for its slim form factor. If you're someone who travels a lot, games on your phone, or watches a lot of video, you'll still need to carry a charger or a power bank. In 2025, that's just not good enough. Reason 5. iOS 26 comes to older models too. Here's perhaps the biggest reason not to upgrade: software parity. Apple just rolled out iOS 26, which brings new features like smarter battery management, enhanced privacy tools, call screening, and improvements to messaging. But guess what? You don't need the iPhone 17 to get them. Many of these updates are available on iPhones going back to the iPhone 13, and even iPhone 12. That means if you have a phone that's just a couple of years old, you'll still experience the same fresh features without paying for new hardware. Sure, some exclusive features are locked to the iPhone 17, usually tied to the new A19 Pro chip, but for everyday users, those exclusives don't make a huge difference. Apple knows this, which is why they often hype software and hardware together, blurring the lines to make you feel like you need both. But the truth is, iOS 26 keeps your older iPhone perfectly capable for another year or two. So unless you're absolutely desperate for the thinnest design or marginally better camera, why upgrade at all? Closing thoughts. So, there you have it. 5 big reasons why you should skip the iPhone 17 this year. The price jump isn't worth it. The design changes are minimal. The camera upgrades aren't revolutionary. Battery life still falls short compared to rivals. iOS 26 gives older models the same fresh experience. Apple is great at marketing, and they know how to make every release feel like a must-have event. But smart consumers know that not every upgrade is worth the money. Sometimes, the smartest move is to wait. Your current iPhone is probably still powerful, still reliable, and still perfectly capable of handling everything you need. So before you drop over $1,000, ask yourself, do you really need the iPhone 17? Or is Apple just convincing you that you do? If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more honest tech insights. Are you skipping the iPhone 17, or are you planning to upgrade anyway? Thanks for watching.